So good morning everyone and welcome to the Achaibo Clinical Research Q&A calls. I am Bea, assistant to Tangu, and I will be working with you in the background to assist you with all things related to the Achaibo online training program. So before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know what we're going to do in today's event. On your screens, you'll see participant interface where you can see the microphone and the video icons, the participant list, chat reactions, or emoticons. Please click on the participant list so that you'll be able to raise your hand when you have questions or experiencing technical issues. We have everybody else automatically muted so we don't hear background noises as others join in. You will have the opportunity to submit your text questions to us in the Q&A box. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect this and address them during the Q&A session at the ends of today's presentations. You could also raise your hand by pressing the hand button and we'll have you unmuted before you speak up for your questions. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Tengu Muna, the founder and the CEO of Achaibo Clinical and the creator of our online course, The Ultimate Clinical Research Toolbox.
Dee, thank you so much. Hey, so glad to be back. Last week we had to do a pre-recorded call due to my schedule. Really excited that we're here. And that was Bea who did the introduction. And we also have Lee who's here supporting us. So let us start. We just did housekeeping. And then I introduced the team that's here to support you. And I'm going to go over my bio just so you can know a little bit about who I am, why I'm so just delighted to share the clinical trials world and space with Africa and our Africans in the diaspora. And then of course I'll talk a little bit about the industry. We're going to go over some inspiration so you can feel uplifted when you leave this call. And then I'm going to talk about our services and how we can help you. So that said, welcome. I'm so delighted that you're here. I see more and more people are joining. It's going to be a very good call. And it is my intention that at the end, you will take away a lot. Okay, I see Elizabeth is here. There's Solomon. There is Kobile. There is Abdul. Welcome. Delighted you guys are here. Okay, now let's move on. A little bit about me. I have been in the industry for over 18 plus years as a clinical research expert, global clinical trials manager, global clinical trials director as well, and really focus on emerging market. So I have a lot of experience in the industry. And the big takeaway here is that I have been working in clinical operations. So clinical operations is at the heart of the clinical trials, where we are the ones who take the protocol or that molecule from the scientists, and then we figure out a way and processes by which we're actually going to test it. And then we set up a whole project or several projects, right? And then we manage everything, monitor, recruit investigators, clinical research sites around the world, work with them, and then eventually submit that data to the regulatory authority. So that's what clinical operations does in a nutshell, because I want you to understand that, being there, that's why I am able to, I do have a lot of knowledge about all the processes in clinical trials. Okay, so I've worked with small and large sponsors. It's a very vast industry spanning the globe. And so I had the opportunity or continue to have the opportunity to work with small companies, whether they're biotech or biopharma, and those massive companies of the world, like them, the Pfizers, the Novo Nordisk, the Sanofi and Roche and all of that good stuff. And then also work with vendors and CROs that are in this space. I've worked across various therapeutic areas. I'm sure maybe over 30 at this point, various indications. Also worked on different types of products, right? So we have drugs, devices, and biologics. So worked on all three and everything else in between. There's a lot going on now. And there's so many innovative and modern clinical trials that are actually coming up. And it's really an exciting time for us. I have excelled at coaching and mentoring study teams. Now, I do all the technical aspects, but the thing that I enjoy a lot is coaching and giving people the information and tools and resources that they need to take the next step. And hence this company. And so that's really what I enjoy doing. And this program and what everything that we do also came from the audits that we run around the world. And of course, we make sure that we got all the best practices right. It's really good to have, I say, contrast because doing these audits or organizing audits and then looking at the data that comes from those always helps us to make clinical trials better. I also love online and offline marketing tools. Just coming from the clinical trials world, every product that we have to basically market and sell it while it is being studied. We have to engage investigators all over the world. We want them to be involved, right? So we have to market and sell it to them. And then I created a tribal clinical because I wanted to work on the African clinical trial space, right? And it could be on the African continent and in the diaspora. So that's what we're here. Basically, gathered all these tools and resources and put them together, created this company, and also we do have silent partners who also get to help us. Okay, so clinical trials are really easy to understand. They just research investigations where people volunteer to test new treatments. It could be an intervention. It could be to volunteer to test new treatment interventions. Now, the test could be to prevent, to detect, to treat, or manage various diseases or medical conditions. And of course, we have some clinical trials that look at what side effects might occur. But the big thing that you want to really pay attention to is preventing, detecting, treating, and managing, right? Those are the four categories important. Now, preventing, we do have substances that prevent disease, detect, but majority of the things that we work on now are to treat and manage, okay? Particularly in end-stage diseases like oncology is really to manage it, but really the goal now is to treat. But we're getting to a really exciting time in the industry where there are a lot more products that are there to prevent, right? I mean, you have very modernized artificial intelligence tools that are being used to detect certain things way ahead of time, right? Detecting breast cancer 5 years before. And so there are companies that are actually creating tools and resources that are going to prevent and detect. And this is what is really exciting. So whatever is happening now, the preclinical stage, all the ideas that are coming forth are going to hit clinical trials, maybe, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? And so there's always an opportunity for more clinical research professionals to participate. Now, let me move into why the industry is so unique, and I'll give you some more information. So this industry is unique because it's decentralized, and the big push towards decentralization is for various reasons. I don't want a majority of my data to come from one subset of people, right? Say I'm conducting a global clinical trial across maybe 50 countries. I don't want my data to just come from one country. I want to make sure that it comes from so many different countries, genotypes and phenotypes are represented. Secondly, cost-wise, it's just cheaper to run clinical trials in Africa. I had a very interesting conversation the other day with a company that really facilitates helps. There's always need to run trials on the African continent, and their job is to work with companies like mine and similar to ensure that they actually get access to that space. So there's such a need. Cost wise, it's always, it's cost efficient. So the industry is only getting bigger. We're right at the beginning in Africa of the innovation that's coming in the industry. And so it's really crucial that we engage and we participate. Globalization translates to the same thing, right? It's a globalized world. We're all together. An event can occur here and affects everybody that is all the way on the other side of the world. So clinical trials are the same. What you realize is that with the shifting demographics across the group, people are getting wealthier. I mean, even in Africa, we're having a bigger middle class, or getting more and more people, moving up. The income potential is increasing, and so what then happens is that you don't only have certain parts of the world dominating in terms of income potential, in terms of opportunity. And so there is a need to globalize everything. You want to ensure that if you're running a clinical trial, you want to make sure that you're making sure that all different types of countries participate, right? Countries that are in Africa, in South America, countries that are in the APAC region, they're all participating. Now, the exciting thing about all of this, it's wonderful. You have decentralized trials, globalization, is the fact that the skill set in clinical trials is a transferable skill, right? Whatever skill set that you have, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, okay? If you want to take our programs and become a CRA, You can be a CRA where you are, you can be a CRA in another part of the world. It's the exact same process. The only difference, of course, are regulatory process that might be slightly different, timelines, the way that you fill out paperwork. That's what I usually say, right? How do you fill out all that paperwork? It might be different, but it's the same process all over the world. And that's why companies are able to run the same clinical trial everywhere. So before going on, I always like to pause because I could just talk and talk. I'm so excited you guys are here. Are you guys following? How are you guys doing? Wave, do a smiley face, that way I don't feel like I'm on my own here. Oh, it's Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, it's so nice to see you. Okay, perfect. And I see you guys are living good. Great, 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 great. So let's keep going. Now, transferable skill. Okay, that's what I was talking about. A transferable skill again is so important in your life because you don't want to be stuck in one country, right? You don't want to, have one skill set that if something happens, you can't go. You say you have to move from your city or you have to move to another country, right? Something happens, you're gonna have to look for a job, go to college or learn some new career, whatever. I mean, really, right? But in this case, you do not need to do that. So let's move on. So here's the state of affairs right now. We conduct the least amount of clinical trials in Africa, but in addition to that, the Africans that are outside of Africa, participation in clinical trials is minimal. Okay, so we don't have a lot of us in this industry, as you can see on this map. Hence, why a tribal clinical is here to serve you, to ensure that you can actually participate, you can become a clinical research professional. And if you are in the industry, we give you tools and resources to ensure that you can be the best that you are. Now, let's talk about some other interesting facts. We have the largest phenotype and genotype in Africa and beyond, over 3 million variants. But only 2% of clinical trials are run, and mostly in South Africa, less than 2%, okay? But here's the thing, we have highly intelligent professionals. The question that I often ask myself is if we have highly intelligent professionals who can excel in times of such peril, like Ebola and all the different pandemics that we've experienced, right? But not even the pandemics. We have an ongoing pandemic. We've had malaria for, I mean, now we're curbing it. Yellow fever, dengue fever. I mean, you name it, we've had it, and I've had a lot of it, right, when I was growing up. So we manage all of that with a minimal amount of resources, and yet we are not participating in clinical trials. How is that possible? And hence, we have the least dollar spent in the clinical trial space. This industry is so abundant. I keep seeing it. I mean, this is the one industry that I really believe that can actually innovate and transform the healthcare sector on the African continent because you're not relying on the local governments for income. These are pharmaceutical companies that take care of all of that. They come in, they run trials, and then you get what more patients participating in clinical trials, right? And that transforms their lives. Because of that demand, you now get more and more clinical research professionals who are trained and ready to go. So you want to really think about that. So how does that relate to Achaibo Clinical? So this is our goal. Really simple. We have targeted programs where we provide tools and resources to help professionals achieve success in clinical trials management. And so our mission is to expand the number of clinical research facilities, and we want to educate and coach existing clinical research personnel on how to navigate this. So new and existing. Our other mission is to help create new avenues of income because the fact of the matter is that many healthcare professionals on our continent rely on the government, for a paycheck. I mean, there's some, whether you work in a hospital or wherever, they have a lot of influence over you, but if you can have an opportunity to have a skill set that is not dependent on the country that you're in, your government, it completely transforms your life, right? And of course, our end goal is to expand patient access to health. Very important. Think about, people in your community who do not have any health insurance, who cannot go to the hospital, who die because they literally do not have access to the right amount of care. But see, clinical trials, by the time that they get to the global level, they've already been tried, tested, right, and proven that things are actually working. So you have phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. As you guys know, phase one, you just it's the first, it's FIH, first in human. You're testing the safety part of it, how it's being absorbed and and excreted in the body, absorbed. digest the metabolite, adding squid, of course, that's what you're looking at. And then by the time you start getting to phase two, obviously you're already seeing that there's no mistakes, right? And that, you can test it on a larger number of people. But then when you get to phase three, these are the global, a lot of the trials in phase three are global, right? Those are the global trials. So it's safe. The great news is that when patients are on this trial, they get all kinds of tests done and all kinds of procedures. And doing clinical trials, the principal investigator and the medical personnel are have to give the assurance that if there's anything that comes up while the patient is on the trial, whatever new medical condition they have to inform them. So you get that medical oversight while you're in that clinical trial. I mean, think about how it can transform people's lives, okay? Now, and then in certain diseases, like indications like, oncology, with all these, tumors and just different types of tumors, right? Sarcomas, melanomas. I mean, there's so much. And there are even some new ones that are like, then there are those rare ones, right? Those rare tumors, I just was working on a project with choroidal melanoma. That's another kind of new tumor with rare. And then we also have one that is in your eardrum, and I have to remember the name. I mean, I'm just saying that there's just so many different. The way that the world is changing, cancer, the rates of cancer are all increasing. Right, so diabetes and cancer, two huge ones around the world. So what does that mean? A patient can get into a clinical trial and get a life-changing effect for them, right? Maybe they have terminal cancer of some form, and there was a new product that's out there that maybe like the new immunotherapy products that are out there, right? And they're very targeted and they're so efficient. So our patients can have the opportunity to actually experience that. Now, so we have various programs, okay, and that's what we do. So our programs are all hands-on training. One of the things that I cannot stand, let me tell you something. Let me clean my glasses before proceeding here, because I look at products out there and they don't make sense to me. These are people who have not actually done what we do in clinical operations. And so they have products out there that are very generic. And I mean, GCP training is fine. Group clinical practice training is fine. You will take that should you choose to come to this industry. You will take that for free. They will give it. We have a free GCP course. But the thing that I'm incensed about is that for us to transform this industry and actually affect our own people, we've got to give people the right information. Okay, we provide hands-on training. It's practical, which means that you are listening and you're taking a program that gives you exactly what you need. So, as a principal investigator, this is how you set up your clinical research facility. If you choose not to set up a clinical research facility, this is a marketing course that shows you how to market yourself so you can get into the pharma industry. That is what we do, and that's what we're good at. It's not speculation, it's not theory, it's on a day-to-day basis. These are the tools and resources that you need because we're all about transformation. I cannot stand it when somebody gives me some information that is very practical, very theoretical. It's like an overview. I want to know how to implement it, and that's how all the courses are created. Okay, so let me start. So the first one, I just call our courses bundles now because they've grown so much, and so we tailor them to meet what your needs are. So the first bundle that we have is a foundational course. It's for anyone who, number one, wants to run a clinical research study at their hospital and their clinic. That's the first thing, like the pharmacist, principal investigator, whatever role you have. And it shows you how to set that up and how to run it. It's very comprehensive, okay? Now, anybody who wants to get into the industry, want to work at a clinical research site, if you've never been in this industry and you're someone, who has, I wouldn't say like nurses and pharmacists, there are other ways that you can get in because you have that clinical background. Let's say, you just don't know anything about, the clinical just maybe you're not a healthcare person, but you've learned about the industry and what the potential is, and you want to get in. This is a great course for you because it gives you the basics. You can go work at a clinical research site and really see what is happening there. Okay. The other course that is embedded in this is our marketing and branding for clinical research professionals. First of its kind, there's nothing out there, whether it's in the US, anywhere in the world. It is a course that actually, as part of the program, it shows you how to market it. What tools and techniques do you take? I mean, marketing and branding the right way and targeted for clinical research professionals. Okay, so that's the first of its kind in there. Okay. And then of course we have in the same bundle, we have our good clinical practices, module that you will also take as well. And then the modules, I say 6 weeks for this course, but it's more than that because it's self-paced, right? And so you're taking the courses, you can take it on your cell phone and on your computer. However, it's really, but here's the part that really makes it so wonderful and exciting. You get lifetime membership coaching. What that means is that we meet with you once a week. So you're taking the courses, and that way at your own time. And then you meet with us and we answer questions that we have and we give you some additional coaching. So that's what's really great about it because the world has changed. People are busy. It is extremely difficult for one to, go sit and when we used to do this like one on one, it took months. We would start a class and then the next class and the next class. I mean, it just takes months, but it's so wonderful. And you take it at your own time and we meet with you and we guide you and provide you all the tools and resources that you need. Okay, so that's our ultimate clinical research toolbox. Everything we have here is ultimate because it's the best and it really is proven to be that. The other course that we have is the ultimate clinical research monitor training program. Elizabeth is the name right now. I'm calling you out, Elizabeth. And it's really for people who want to become monitors. In the industry, there are two ways that you can become a clinical research monitor. You've worked at a clinical research site and you can become a clinical research monitor because you have an idea of what the industry is about. The second person is you can be a pharmacist. Any person who has that clinical background is always helpful to become a clinical research monitor. And so it's a training that is really targeted. It gives you tools and resources, exactly what you do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it is a lot of information, these courses. And so, the Ultimate Clinical Research Toolbox has a lot of information, but, but this course is really as much information as you can get, right? And then we have bonuses and all kinds of stuff. So 8 weeks online training modules. I say 9 weeks now because we're adding some new things in. And then you get your lifetime coaching. So it's the same thing. So our goal is to make sure that you get what you need. Hands-on practical training, not full theory. Just, I've seen a lot of those courses online. You just, and the other thing is that these courses are also from feedback from colleagues, project managers. Remember that, I've been working at the global level. And so at the global level, there's a lot of expertise and people that contribute around the world. So these courses come from everything that has happened around the globe, and to ensure that you guys get the best of the best because we actually deserve that. So the last thing we have is our Tribal Blue Cloud Network. This is a global network. It's the first of its kind that is now being applied to the African space, African clinical trial space. And it's really simple. If you're a principal investigator who wants to run clinical research sites, clinical research trials, we actually, once you're trained, you get into the network because we don't want you to have that expertise and then you're sitting and putting your fingers and go, oh, when am I going to get a project? Do I have to go out there and look for it? So that network is there to help you. There's additional training in there. There's a lot that keeps getting added. So that is a way for you to have access to clinical trials, okay? Instantly. You come, you train. There's also the process that you have to go through, and then we start making sure that our clients get clinical trials to you, and then we provide the oversight. So while you're on the clinical trials, our company provides all the oversight and really ensures that you're getting all the help and support that you need. That's something that's mandated by them. So it is also for if you're a principal investigator on this call and you're already running clinical trials, join our database. For you, it's going to be free because you're already running clinical trials. And then what will happen is that you get access to our sponsors. Now, it gives you access to a global network. This network has been around, but for some reason, it never came to our country. It doesn't really matter why, right? We are where we are, right? And so now our partners contacted me. I went through a robust quality assurance and quality control process. And then now I'm in. And so we have this network. But in addition to that, we also have other companies, and it's because of the fact that we're the only company who is doing what we're doing right now. We're the only company who does training and coaching for clinical research professionals and also provides oversight to clinical research site in Africa right now. So we do have other sponsors and other companies that also require our help. Now, so that's the network. Okay, so let me pause here. Are you guys still following? Is everything going well? Are you guys here? I see Lee, you keep popping in and popping out. I know your network is probably unstable. So all is well. She's determined to stay. Okay. I see you guys are still there, you're following. So let's move on. So that's what we do in a nutshell. Our goal is to give you tools and resources that you need to be a great clinical research professional. But then it's a lifetime thing. It's not just you come into our programs, you pay some amount of money, and then you take the courses online, and we don't know what happens to you. We follow everybody. It's all about your ensuring that you get to where you want to go and your success, and that's really important. Okay, so let me talk about the benefits. I talked about a lifetime membership, which means that you come in, you register with us, you have lifetime membership support on anything. If you are already in the industry, you start training with us, you want to become a CRA, become a CRA, and after become a CRA, you're like, oh, wow, I want to move up. How do I do that? Hey, I'm going to go back to my coaching. We're here for you to answer your questions. The weekly coaching calls are tailored per program. So depending on what program that you're on, that's the calls that you're going to join. And it's really there to support you, to answer questions and ideas to uplift you, right? Because like I had mentioned before, I say, why suffer, when you can get the right information from somebody else and that information can transform your life? Why suffer through life when you can learn from somebody else's experience? I'm all about that. If I can get this information from somewhere and not have to go through this for 5 years, I absolutely will do that. But the other thing is that there's something about being in a space of inspiration. All our programs are 99% inspiration and 1% perspiration. This is what I mean. The modules are there, you're going to take them. But interwoven into the module or into the modules, you get a lot of stuff about success. And then when you come on the coaching calls, you get empowerment because we need that. The true work in your life starts from you. Okay. You can be somebody who wants to move forward in life, but if the foundation that you have in you is just no inspiration, you think that you're not in control of the world, and that life is coming to an end, and that, oh, today is going to be a horrible day, then of course that's what will happen to you. And so all our programs are there to ensure that you get that inspiration. And many of you might not know this, but one of the things that's really shaped my life is the study of the Yoga Sutras. I am a yoga instructor. Not that I don't teach yoga, but I am certified yoga person. So I believe in Eastern philosophy, and added to the methodology of Christianity that I studied when I was actually growing up. And so what I have done is that every person who comes to our coaching programs, you get the philosophy of success based on the mindset, which comes from meditation, which comes from allowing yourself to tap into the gifts, talents, and abilities that you have, and not be caught up with what is going on in the world. Because if you get caught up with what is going on in this world, you're never going to go anywhere. You have got to dance between what is happening in the physical world and what is possible for you. Right? You're always living in two worlds: what is possible and what is currently going on. Okay, so I studied the yoga session. I've studied them for about, my goodness, maybe it's over 10 years now. And I read them every single day because as I read them, and sutras are just short phrases. It's just basically short phrases that have divine, infinite ideas, okay? Ideas that are just incredible. That in that short phrase lies everything about humanity and the universe. And so that's really how they are actually structured. And so I've taken that and made sure that it is infused into this program, and that when you are on the program, you get that uplift. You feel like, wow, I can actually make a difference. Because that's for me, that is really important. Becoming what you want to become is easy. You can become a CRA, you become a principal investigator, you can do amazing things. But if you don't have a solid foundation of success, then all of that is just construing chateau en l'air, right? You're building castles in the air. Okay, so You get access to the best sponsors around the world. That's what we're about. My goal is that you get equal access to the clinical trial space. We've got to compete globally, people. We cannot live in our little corner wherever we are in the world and only focus on what is there. We've got to compete globally. We really have to put ourselves on the global stage, and this industry is the best way to do it because it lacks diversity. There's some industries where I would say, well, I don't know how you're going to get into that, but this is the one industry where diversity is the key. Because think about the pharmaceutical company that wants to bring a product to the market. They need different ideas. They can't just have a scientist who's just from, who's Caucasian or a scientist who's from one part. They need that diversity so that they can bring something great that can affect a lot of people. So I say that is important. We got to compete globally. And where else can you be, right? Where you can actually compete and make good use of yourself. Okay. And so let me go into in every program, I always weave in the inspiration, right? Because I won't call it inspiration per se. I'll just call it a reminder of the greatness that is within you because there is greatness. Yes, we live in a world where there's so many things happening, some things most certainly happen that you don't really care for. But remember in this life, contrast brings movement. Okay, let me explain it. Contrast means that there are things in your life that you don't want to happen, you don't care for it. Maybe you went outside and you hit your toe, and now your toes throbbing, or you got malaria. Mosquito bit you, and now my goodness, you have malaria for like a week, and you have this headache and all these different things, right? So all of that is building you and pushing you towards where you want to go. So let's remember that. So that contrast, the challenges, family issues, work problems, all of that, it's only there to remind you that those are the things that you don't want in your life. So you want to work towards something else. But imagine if we had lives where everything was just perfect and hunky-dory. What would you live for? I was watching this documentary the other day, and they were talking about how we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna be living forever. I won't get too much into it, but I'll make the point regarding what they said. We all have different opinions, right? And that, people will be living for 300 years, 1,000 years because they have all this nanotechnology that can go into your body and keep, helping, curing diseases. That's fine. I'm in clinical trials. I love stuff like that. But here's the thing that I always say. Death allows for us to know that you're here in a short period of time and you better go for your dreams because at some point you're not going to be here anymore, right? So death is contrast. That death, the thought of it is like, well, I better get going right now. I have to get my life going. I have things that I want to do. And before I die, I might be here for 99 years, 80 years, or 100 years. I want to get things done. So that's part of the contrast that I'm talking about on this call. Okay. The other thing that they talked about was that your mind is going to be uploaded into some system. And when you die, they will upload your consciousness. This is what I said to myself. I believe that we are here to live lives that get to a certain point. And then my belief system is that when you pass away, you go into, this, your consciousness, of course, gets recycled into more things. And there's some theory that we're living in an alternate reality. But here's my point that I'm getting to is that contrast, that living this life and knowing, not unsure of what happens when you take your final breath, is a wonderful thing. So, which brings me now to what we're going to talk about today. An assumption builds a bridge of incidents that leads inevitably to the fulfillment of itself. I love Neville Goddard. He's just incredible. You can listen to some of his videos on YouTube, all his books. I probably have all of them. And what he says is this: what you assume about yourself is very important. It is a subtle thing. So I move about in my life and I make so many assumptions about myself, starting with myself. Sometimes I make an assumption that, there are people who are more intelligent than me and that I cannot succeed because there are people who are more intelligent than me. That's an abstract concept, right? You're not talking about specifically, or, okay, a medical doctor is more intelligent and they're not. But you can make an assumption, and that assumption can rule your life to the point where you never really go for what you want because you assume that you never do it because there are people who are more intelligent than you. Another assumption that you can make about yourself is what certain people in certain parts of the world have everything that they need and I don't, which is not true too, because it's all about perception, right? But here's my point. if you're going to make an assumption about, then you can make, sorry, let me back up. You can make assumptions about other people, certain people. I remember growing up in Cameroon, certain tribes have this, some people steal, this tribe steals, this tribe is this. It was nonsensical stuff, which really has nothing to do with anything, right? Stories that people have made up about, we're just human beings on this planet doing what we're meant to do, right? So think about all the assumptions that you make in your own life on a daily basis, moving around, seeing people, passing judgments about the work that you're doing, passing judgments about your success in this life. We are ruled by assumptions, but if you're going to have assumptions, I say have assumptions that lead you somewhere. Make an assumption like, I was created to be successful and I'm always successful at what I do. An assumption like, things always work out for me. I don't know how, but they always do. So you want to make assumptions that actually lead you to be your best, right? And it's practice. It's not easy. We get up, we jump out of bed, and the world starts, right? So you always want to make sure that before you get up in the morning, right? Whether you're lying down on your bed, already start thinking about what is possible for you for that day. Something that I've done for years and years, because that's really important. That will set the tone. So Neville says these assumptions build a bridge of incidents. So close your eyes and picture this in your mind. You make an assumption, it builds a bridge, right? A bridge links to something that leads you to the fulfillment of itself. If I make an assumption that I'm a successful person and no matter what happens, challenges, somehow I always become successful at everything that I do. That assumption, the bridge will be a success bridge. And that is the bridge that's going to lead me to the fulfillment of whatever I want to achieve, right? So think about that, okay? The other thing that Neville, he puts this in a different way. He says that an assumption is the thing that carries you over stormy seas to the realization of your desires. Okay, that's another way that he puts it, which I love, right? You make the assumption, whatever it is that energy that carries you through all the challenges in your life. And eventually you land on the shores of the success that you seek. So think about that. Make assumptions that serve you. Catch yourself when you hear yourself saying something, you're in a situation, and maybe there's a challenge before you, and maybe somebody has given you something at work. You have never done it before, and they just assumed, which is good, that you can do it, but you don't know how to do it. Just make the assumption that you're going to find a way to do this. You don't know how. This might be new, but I'm going to find a way to do it. So that's what I wanted to really stress on today. Assume something different about yourself. Okay, because when you do that, it's going to completely transform your life. You start small, and some people say, I'm a night person. I sleep late. I'm a night. Some people say, oh, I'm a morning person. I've always made the assumption I'm a morning person. So I get up at 4 a.m., meditation, exercise before I start, working, with doing work, right? All of that. So I've always assumed that it's important that I get up early in the morning so that I can prepare myself to be of service to my clients, right? And coaching student. So that's important. Okay. Now let's go into the questions before I provide the links. And does anybody have questions today? Let's see how we can help you. So it's simple. B had mentioned it before. You raise your hand, and then we'll answer your question for you. And then we will unmute you as well if that's something that you choose. Or you can type in the chat box. We have the Q&A section. You can type in the chat box or the Q&A section any questions that you have. Wow, you guys really got this? Is that what you're saying? You don't have any questions today? Oh, can you guys hear me very well? B just told me there was an issue with my mic and it sometimes has an echo. Were you guys able to hear what I said?
It's clear now.
Oh, good. Thank you, B. I know. I don't know what's going on with this headset. I have a Yeti mic that I might have to start switching to because this Apple headset sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. So let's see who's here. Oh, Achaibo is I like that. I like when people ask me such fun questions. So my old company was Seva CRP. I'll give you a little bit of a background. And I was training clinical research professionals in the United States, West, Canada, and Eastern, right? And that was Seva main service in Sanskrit. And then when I decided to start working in Africa, I was thinking to myself, you know, who am I really? And what is the meaning of this? And how can I make sure that, that my company name reflects, where I'm coming from, where I'm going? So Achaibo is actually my father's middle name and my mother's middle name. And I mix them together. And that's what Achaibo Clinical is. So it's my origins, right? Africa, both my parents, and using their energy because they're very passionate people. They were, I mean, my father passed, but very passionate and dedicated people about service. So, and they inspired me. So that came to me literally in meditation. Amazing ideas come in the silence in life. When you take the time to quiet your mind, I swear you would be amazed by what will come through. So I stepped out of meditation and I heard a Achaibo because I was trying to figure out how to transform the other company. And I thought maybe I should use the same company, right? But I said, no, I think it's better to create a new entity that better reflects, the type of way, the new way that I actually want to serve. So that's what it is, Joanna. It's Acho and Chaibo Achaibo. That's what it is. Okay. Anybody else? Any clinical trials related questions or anything else? Glad to help. We have a smaller call today. I think because last week it was pre-recorded. So some of our regulars were probably thinking, what's going on, right? So, but no, we are live and we'll keep going live. And every week is different. Every week is different. I have a new topic of discussion each time for your inspiration and your upliftment. So any other questions, you guys? Elizabeth, of course. You know what? Let me tell you how amazing Elizabeth is. I just got to say, Elizabeth is in our CRA program. She meets with me once a week. She does coaching. But what I admire about her is that she still comes to this call because there's always something new that I would put in, right? It's not just talking about how we're here to serve the world, but every week I have a new topic. So if you need this recording, please put your email in the chat box, and Bia is going to send it to you. It takes about 24 hours because we do a little bit of editing and then just to make sure that it is right for you. So please just put your name in there and we'll send it to you. Yeah, Elizabeth, we do have your email address. Okay, and I see that somebody just joined. Who just joined? Right at the end, we're definitely going to have to send you the recording. Sam, are you the one who just joined? If you just joined, just raise your hand because you definitely need the recording. Oh, okay. It's Joanna. So Joanna's going to need the recording there. Who else needs the recording for this call so that we can get that to you? So Elizabeth, Joanna, and number 3. Who's number 3? Sam. I suspect it was you who just joined. I don't know why. I have a feeling. So Abdul. Oh, yeah. Abdul wants it. So B, we have Elizabeth, Sam, Joanna, Abdul, and hi, Mary Chen. I think that you are, or it's Mary Chen. That's a really neat name. Welcome. I don't think I saw you earlier. And Kobile, Solomon. Okay, great. So we will send the recording to the people who've raised their hands. Fantastic. Now, any more questions? Does anybody have anything? That's what we're here for. This is the Q&A. It is the opportunity for you to ask any questions about clinical trials and clinical research. So you can raise your hand, you can come on, and then what B will do is she's going to note, you're going to come on, you can, we can unmute you and you can speak. Or you can just type in the chat box. Elizabeth, do you want to speak? I think Elizabeth wants to say something. So let's unmute her. Let's hear what Elizabeth wants to say. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be part of this program. It
you're
is
so
really
funny.
interesting and I have learned a lot.
You what?
I have learned a lot. I'm happy to be part of this program.
I yeah, you know what, Elizabeth was so happy to have you. You don't know how much we're happy to have you. Guys, Elizabeth was working at a site and then she contacted me and said she wanted to be a CRA. And she's going through the CRA program. She's, she meets with me doing our one-on-one coaching. And we discuss what she's learning. I inspire her, give her more tips and ideas. And it's really, she really is enjoying it. And but in addition to that, she's getting the marketing and the marketing course which I talked about, the first of its kind for clinical research professionals. So when she's done, we're now going to help her to become the CRA. So it's not just that she's taking the course. When she's going to go through all those tools, she's going to apply to companies. We're showing her how to interview and all of that stuff so that she can move up pretty quickly, right? So Elizabeth, we're so happy to have you. And she's still coming to this other call, the free one. You are so funny. I swear. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you're here as well. So glad.
Yeah, sharing messages really inspire me. Really encourage.
Good. Yeah, we're here to help. We're here to help. Every week is different too. And I see why you're attending because I always think of a new topic every week on how I can best help you guys to feel like you matter. There's something about being a human being in this world who remembers that they have skills, talent, abilities that are unique to them, and that they can use those skills and talents to apply them in the world. And I even had mentioned to Elizabeth during our coaching that people are waiting for you. People, because sometimes we think that, we're going out to get a skill and talent so that we're going to move and be successful. Of course, you will be make more money. But there's the other part that we forget. Because I took that step forward in my life, because I let go of the doubt about myself, what people thought about me or what I'm capable of, and I took that step, I'm going to affect the lives of other people. So there are people waiting for you. There are people right now who are saying, come on, you know, we're waiting for you, but you're out there, in the bushes. When I was growing up, they would say, what are you doing if you want to get from one city to another, right? You got to be on the road, waving to get into a car. But if you're running around in the bush, how are you going to get in a car to get to where you want to go to? So that was a saying that I had when I was growing up, So I always tell people that you are not journeying towards your goals and your dreams and your desires, right? You're journeying towards them, but of course, they're also coming towards you. I mean, it's a two-way thing. When you set about on a journey, they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. I say, yes, it does, but you will not take those 1,000 steps because what's going to happen is that as you start journeying on, those steps are going to start meeting up with you. So you are also calling people to you. So Elizabeth, happy that you're here. We're delighted to have you. We love working with you. I can't wait to speak with you this week. But just so you know, those tools are actually going to be there for you. We've created some really great tools that I think will be very helpful. The ones that you requested. So we're really working diligently to get that uploaded for you. Okay. You are welcome. Okay, and any other questions? I saw somebody else who just joined. That way we can get the recording to you. I see somebody else just joined and we're already towards the end. But if you did, raise your hand and we're gonna get the recording to you. That way you have it. Hmm. I might be, but I could have sworn somebody just joined, but it's fine. Maybe the it's okay. If you hear this again, we are getting recordings just to people who request it. We don't just send it to everybody because it's really unnecessary. But if you want the recording and you just joined us, please make sure to let us know. In addition to that, so after this call, you will get an email from us. It has the links to the registration, but here's what is really so neat. What we also do is this, because let's see, hi, I'm here. I just popped to see what this is all about. Oh, Mary Chen, I see you now. We're happy to have you. Okay. We're glad that you popped in. And this is all about we talk about clinical trials, and we also talk about success and inspiration. So that's really what this call is about. Um, Abdul, well done, ma'am. Oh, you also need the recording for previous lectures. We will work on how we don't so we don't go all the way back. But basically this is what is going on, guys. We keep making our platform better. Now, people who actually coach with us get access to everything, but previous recordings and all of that stuff. But we're gonna work to get the previous recordings to you. Abdul, can I ask why you want all the recording from the previous lectures? Because it's really, I mean, technically, is it really a lecture? I mean, we're why do you want it? Convince me so that we can send it to you. Are you there? Oh, we can hear you. So I think there's something off with I think your connection is off. Do you want to just type a message and let me know why. You wanna, I think his connection is a little bit off. Okay, no worries. B, take a note of Joanna's email address as well. I think she typed it in here for us because it might not be the same one she used to register. Oh, I can hear you now a lot better. So Abdul, why do you want the previous lectures? Oh, he went back on mute. Something is going. You want to unmute yourself? Yeah, I just want you to share with the group because I always say we're all in this together. So what do you like about the lectures that you now want previous recordings?
Actually, I missed some of the lectures because I try connecting, but due to my schedule, I was a little bit busy with my work. But today I was able to attend fully, and
perfect.
I know yes, it is really helpful, and I want to listen to everything the clinical trial is all about.
Absolutely. So every week it's the same. We introduce the programs, but it's the inspiration that changes. So sure, do your best. It might take B quite a few days because it's it's a lot and we have so much that's going on, but you will get this one for sure. And then Bia, take your time and send the previous ones, like they're all in our private YouTube, right? So you can just like invite him to that, right? Right,
Okay.
B?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, we will send it to you. Yeah, but Abdul, what you actually want to do is there is really nothing really different. What interests you? Are you interested in taking a clinical research program? Let me know a little bit about you and what and how we can best serve you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm actually interested in clinical trials. I'm interested in research so much. So that's what inspired me in keeping in contact with your clinical lecture, this lecture you're giving all the time.
Absolutely. So we also have programs, right? So we're basically letting people know about the industry and also to be aware that you have options, right? We also have programs that can actually, that's what we do. We train people on clinical research. That's what we actually do. So yeah, we'll share that with you. And if you need to speak with me, you can schedule a one-on-one call. Let me be the link to the one-on-one call. Use the complimentary call one. Do you have access to that link right now? Like it's the 15 minutes one.
Okay.
Abdul, sorry, you had a question?
No, I just want to know how I can make it a one-to-one, one-on-one call, maybe later.
Sure, we're actually posting the link for you because Because I think that you'll be, I just tell people, listen, if you're interested in clinical trials, this is as good as it gets, right? We are in the industry, we know what we're doing, right? I mean, I'm in the industry, we know what we're doing, and we're the only company training in this way. Training African clinical research professionals and Africans in the diaspora. We do train other people who are non-Africans too, don't get me wrong, but we really focus on that demographic because it's a market that needs clinical research professionals. We need a lot more. And so we have to make sure that we have more facilities and more clinical trial professionals. And so that's really what we're targeting. So Bia, who has posted a link in the chat, you can also ping me on LinkedIn. And let me see if anybody else, ping me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And ping me on LinkedIn. Just, you can use this link, either one to schedule a call with me. The only difference is the time. One is 15 minutes, one is 30 minutes. So it doesn't really matter. But if you want to chat with me, Abdul, ping me on LinkedIn, and I will send you a link again, and that way you can schedule something with me and let me know a little bit about you, because you've been attending these calls and I really want to understand, what your needs are and what kind of research you're doing and how we can best serve you.
All right, ma'am. No problem.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. I am available. Don't be a stranger, people. I am on LinkedIn. You can email customer service or CS at Achaibo Clinical. Following this webinar, you get an email. I think it takes like 24 hours or something to get to you guys. My email address is also there. You can book a one-on-one call with me. I mean, really, if you want to know more, if you're interested in our programs, or you just have questions on, I'm here in my life and I really want to be in clinical research, but I don't really know, or I want to move up. I'm already, in clinical research. I've had the same job forever, right? And I want to move up, but I don't know how to do that. Okay, you're in the right space. Trust me. We have people who want to get in, and then we have people who are in and they want to move up. Okay, because we're not taught how to market ourselves. We're not taught how to brand ourselves. We're not taught how to present ourselves, the quickest and fastest ways to get results. So that's really what I'm about. I'm getting all the skills and knowledge learned globally and giving it to you guys so that you can move to the next level of your success. So that said, I don't think there are more questions, but I always end with something very juicy that's gonna propel you guys this week and really make you feel like it's important. Your life matters, of course. Success is within you. Success is an inside job. It really is. It is all in here, all in your spirit. If you don't believe in anything, your subconscious mind, it doesn't really matter what you believe in. The fact of the matter is this: the assumptions that you make about your life will rule you. Okay? You are going to be ruled by the assumptions that you make about yourself. If you say that, I'm of a certain age and success cannot come to me, that's exactly what's going to happen. You've made an assumption. It's nothing magical, right? If I make an assumption that I'm too old and I cannot take the next step in my life and really do what I want to do, automatically, if an opportunity comes along, I'm not going to go for it because I've made that assumption. Okay? If I make an assumption that the world is a horrible place, nobody can get ahead, things are really tough, certain people in the world cannot get ahead. I'm not saying that there's no struggle and strife in the world. We know that there is, right? But if you make that assumption and you really believe in it, and it will affect your life, right? Now, challenges in life, like I mentioned before, it's contrast, it's part of your life. Challenges, I call them projects now. When a big challenge comes along, I'm like, oh, I have a new project, right? Doesn't mean that I don't feel stressed out about it or whatever. But I said that there was a new project because it's this. Through that project, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to move forward in my life in a way that I haven't moved before. When I decided to transform my platform, I really focused more on our continent in the diaspora. It was not easy because I'm like, how am I going to do this? But because I took the step, I got all the support that I needed, right? And hence here we are, and we're moving forward, and people are getting the support that they need. So things in life do not come easy, I promise you. But it's not so much that things come easy or not. It is, who are you being in the midst of the things that are not coming easy? Are you going to use your life and make assumptions about yourself that are going to be the wonderful energy that carries you over stormy waters to the shores of your success? Or are you going to create things that are going to take you to the stormy seas and just have you twirling around in the stormy seas for the rest of your life? But how do you do this, right? You practice. You get up in the morning, right? And you set the intention that before noon today, I'm going to feel like I matter and like I belong. From now, when I get up in the morning, you say something to yourself. Today is going to be an incredible day. I don't care what happens. I'm going to be okay. And if you can make it to noon, and then after noon, right, you can have, all the bad news. Then I always have a joke with my family that I don't want any bad news before noon. Right? So you can have them, but if you keep repeating that over and over, you're going to notice, oh my goodness, I got up this morning and I made it to 3 p.m. today and nothing really bothered me. That's interesting. So you keep practicing that. But our lives are all intertwined. I say it's a 360 life. So when you change one aspect of your life, the energy flows to all other aspects of your life. So you might just say, oh, I'm getting up every day and I'm really wanting to be hopeful about my life and to feel better. Some things that are stuck are going to start moving forward just because of that. Okay. So make the right assumption about yourself. We all know it's not, this life on planet Earth is not a walk in the park, right? I mean, it really is not, I even say people, even the expression a walk in the park. I mean, the question is what park, where in the world? There are parks that you walk through and mosquitoes will just be after you, right? So even the expression itself, you wonder if it's actually accurate, so that's life. We are where we are, but give yourself permission to experience your life in a new way. And again, clinical trials, it's a new industry. It's exciting. It's wonderful. There's so much that can come out of it, but you've got to give yourself permission to explore it. And even if you do not, you leave this call today and you know that ask yourself, what's the one thing that I took away from this? And how can I apply it in my life? Even if it's getting up in the morning and creating, I call it a power phrase for yourself, right? It's like that berry. I just forgot the name. There's a berry that, I think we have that berry somewhere in Cameroon as well, where it like basically sets the temp, like it basically influences everything that you eat, right? There's a fruit like that, I know, in Cameroon, that you eat it, and you just put it in your mouth, and if you're eating a bitter thing, it makes it sweet and all of that. So we have that. And then remember, there are also fruits that have such a staining color that you eat it, everything else that you eat gets stained with that same color. So that's what you're doing when you have a power phrase, and when you create it, what that means is that will stain every activity in your life. So I'm going to end here with that. Focus on your assumptions. Really look at what assumptions you're making that do not serve you. And then get up in the morning and have something that you tell yourself that is going to sweeten your life, right? As you move forward. Okay, I think that's it for today. Again, we're here for you. Ping me. If you're interested in joining our programs, we'd love to have you take your life to the next level and get things going. Okay, so thank you for joining. It has been delightful having all of you, and I will see you next week if you choose to keep joining our weekly webinars. And Bia and Lee, thank you so much for your support. You're so appreciated, and I will talk to you guys after this call. Bye.